Philadelphia's first training camp practice is officially in the books, yet we already have some surprises surrounding the Birds' star DB. Plus the best injury update Jihad Campbell and Nakobe Dean could have received, how he makes a very solid under-the-radar move, and two major standouts from day one that I did not expect. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, the Bird players have now reported the NovaCare complex, checked in, passed their physicals, and as of today, officially completed their first practice. Day one of Eagles training camp is finally in the books. But before diving into what went down at practice today and what players had to say following their first day of school, Howie Roseman was busy working behind the scenes, making some slight tweaks to an already loaded roster. Now, quick PSA for my drivers out there. If you're in a car a lot during the day, you want to stream my show in podcast form, it is officially live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcast. Search the Thomas Mott Show. I'll detail it down below. You can still watch here on YouTube. It's the same show, but a lot of you guys wanted a podcast, and so now it's available. Now, naturally, we should expect plenty of small roster moves over the next couple of weeks, how he signs people, how he cuts people, but what Roseman did on Tuesday is a little bit more than that. As Philadelphia released KJ Henry and running back Lou Nichols in order to sign Ogbo, Okoronkwo, and Jacob Sykes. And I'll start with Sykes. He's most recently a UFL defensive tackle, where before that he was a Seattle Seahawk UDFA out of UCLA. And while sure, his UFL numbers with the San Antonio Brahmas this past season weren't exactly eye-popping, just 3 TFLs and 1 sack in 9 games, he notably overlapped with Eagles' current D-line coach Clint Hurt while the two were in Seattle back in 2023. Jacob does have an uphill battle to go and make the roster. Just be honest with you guys here. Obviously, they're not going to, take away snaps from Moro Jomo or Jordan Davis or, heaven forbid, Jalen Carter, but I like the fact that he did overlap with Clint Hurt, and so there's a relationship there, and hey, anyone can make a roster, you never know, but really, try and make a practice squad, that wouldn't be bad on the defending Super Bowl champs. Okoronkwo, however, has a lot more of my attention. Not just because Philadelphia technically had their eye on him back during the 2018 draft, but because he actually has legit stats as an NFL pass rusher to go ahead and look back on. His best year was back with the Texans in 2022, where he compiled 9 TFLs, 11 quarterback hits, and 5 sacks. And while he never really hit the following 2 seasons in Cleveland, he still compiled 7.5 sacks. For reference, Josh Uche had 7 sacks spanning the past 4 years instead of 2. So technically, Okoronkwo has been way more productive. For me, it's very clear that Howie Roseman has 2 main priorities at edge rusher heading into 2025. First off, establish Dylan Smith and Jalyx Hunt as the clear-cut starters. Obviously, although Smith may start off a little limited in practices the next few weeks, Philly thinks he's going to be a star, as do I. Second, though, Howie is desperately trying to find his next Chris Long, or should I say Brandon Graham edge rusher, a productive veteran who can maybe revitalize his career playing alongside Jalen Carter and Vic Fangio's defense. Between Ezekiel Jolari, Josh Uche, and now Okoronkwo, Howie Roseman has plenty of lines in the water right now. Here's to hoping just one of them gets a bite. And I have seen some people suggest that this signing is going to hurt Antoine Powell-Ryland, the Eagles' late-round draft pick in April. Maybe take his roster spot, maybe not, but Antoine Powell-Ryland's big job right now is just to make the practice squad. Philadelphia has no expectations for him going into training camp. I'm going to watch him very eagerly, but this move does not really affect him, at least overall. That remains to be seen. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Groons. I've been taking these Groons daily for the past couple of months, which if you watch my channel, you've seen me talk about them, and I absolutely love them. What exactly are Groons? Well, it's a big bag like this, which has individual bags like this, and it carries your multivitamin, your greens product, your prebiotic, all packed into one delicious bite in gummy form. And Groons gummies pack 6 times more gut health ingredients than the leading greens powders. You also get biotin and niacinamide for stronger hair, skin, and nails, plus functional mushrooms for focus and brain support, and vitamin C to fight off stress-inducing free radicals. And my favorite part is the little packet because they're made for life on the go. For instance, I went to Europe during the summer, and each daily packet fit right in my carry-on case or beach bag, so I never missed my daily nutrients. Plus, and I didn't know this, because they come in gummy form, Groons are actually more bioavailable, which means your body actually absorbs and uses those nutrients more effectively. And right now during the summer, Groons went ahead and announced their brand new raspberry lemonade flavor. You see the original flavor here, which I thought tasted amazing anyway. Then I tried raspberry lemonade. I think this is my new favorite. They're both fantastic, but limited time offer runs through August to go ahead and grab these before they go away. Check out the raspberry lemonade today. And because I'm here for you, if you want 52% off your first order of Groons, that's 52%. Click the link down below in my description box, somewhere down here, or simply pull out your phone and scan the QR code right over, I think, here on the screen. That'll get you the discount. Try out Groons. Try out their brand new raspberry lemonade flavor. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. Now, speaking of Howie Roseman, and the Eagles' first practice today began with the quarterly joint Roseman and Nick Sirianni press conference. Right off the bat, we got our first injury news drop regarding the health of all 90 birds, and it's even better than we could have hoped.
We'll start off with, we have one player with a designation. Nakobe Dean will start camp on PUP. He's doing a great job with his rehab. Can't wait to get him back. Other than that, everyone else will be on the field.
Full attendance then?
One more time.
Full attendance?
Full attendance.
Everyone but Dean means that Jahad Campbell, as you see on your screen right there, was actually out on the practice field today, and although still slightly limited, but as Nick Sirianni said, credit to the rookie for getting his body ready to go and his rehab ahead of schedule because he was actually on the field today. People thought he couldn't be until late August, and now has the potential to compete for the starting inside linebacker job.
Yeah, you're going to see him out there today, like Howie said, and it would be fun to get him out there and start working with him. He looked like he had a great summer, and excited to have him out there working.
And let's just be clear, Dean going on the PUP list isn't the worst news in the world because technically we expected this. However, I want to make a distinction that the PUP list is different from IR. PUP simply means you can do everything, including meetings and working out, but go ahead and practice. Plus, unlike the 6-week IR, Dean can be activated off the PUP list at any time, leaving the door open for 17 to be back on the field before the start of the season. One final injury note, Jalen Carter was actually not practicing today, even though Howie Roseman said in the clip I just showed you that all 90 players minus Dean were good to go. There's been some rumblings that Carter's dealing with something, not serious, but they won't say what it is, and so he was off to the side, didn't have his helmet. Kenyon Green, the new tackle edition or guard edition as well, also sat to the side. No major concerns here. Carter's going to be just fine. This is clearly precautionary, but worth noting, Jalen Carter was not out there today. Either way, now's the time to go ahead and sit back, say a quick prayer, and just hope that all Eagle players stay as healthy as possible as training camp starts to ramp up. Okay, so now let's move on to the actual practice notes from day one of training camp. First, how about this video of Jordan Davis that's been circling around Twitter all morning long, which notices once again that the former first rounder is looking slimmer than ever. And while I've said this multiple times because I hung out with JD earlier this year and he looked slim and told me he was slimmer, it's nice to see his efforts are finally being noticed by the broader media. Davis is currently listed at 336 pounds. That's nearly 20 pounds lighter than what he was listed at 350 entering 2024's training camp. So obviously he's for sure on the lighter side. Now we just get to see what the best shape of his life version of Jordan Davis is capable of. Moving over to the all-important who started at what position battles, and how about the first big surprise of camp? Cooper DeJean was the starting safety in the Birds' first official base defense look. Something that was of course hinted at during OTAs back in May, but to see DeJean begin day one of camp as the starting safety is definitely a big deal. Oh, and by the way, A.J. Brown said post-practice that his #1 goal with DeJean this year is to make him an All-Pro.
Honestly, I think it's a part of my responsibility, part of our responsibility as wide receivers to get those guys ready, and vice versa, And I joke around with Coop all the time. I call him All-Pro Coop, APC, All-Pro Coop, because this is gonna be a year for him. I'm not trying to put pressure on him, but I tell him all the time, I'll make you All-Pro. And that starts in camp, each and every day. So
it is worth noting, however, that Cooper DeJean, despite starting at safety in base defense, when Philadelphia moved to nickel, dime, and quarters, he then moved back to the nickel slot cornerback position. So that means the two starting safeties, and whenever Cooper DeJean is not the starting safety, follow me here, in a non-base defense look, was Sidney Brown first and then Andrew Mukuba. But all day long for day one of training camp, they swapped those guys in and out of the 1 and 2 positions. So very clearly, right now, it's Brown versus Mukuba for battle for safety 1. Next, how about cornerback? And of course, Ringo did receive the majority of first-team snaps at the outside today, but was beat twice deep. First by Terrace Marshall, more on him in 1 second, via Tanner McKee, who also notably had a very solid day. And next was this perfect back shoulder go ball by Hurst to A.J. Brown, which, by the way, all reporters said that go ball to A.J. Brown over Ringo was the play of the day at camp. And so if you're panicking about Ringo getting beat by A.J. Brown, he was in good coverage, by the way, but he still got beat. Just calm down a little bit here. Ringo was fine today. No need to go ahead and hit the red alert button. Finishing up the cornerback spot quickly, Dory Jackson was the backup for most of practice until the final team session, so he did technically get first team reps, but the majority of them went to Ringo. Flying back to Terrace Marshall Jr. for just 1 second here, because during OTAs, he definitely stood out, but still had a lot of question marks around would he make the roster. However, day one of training camp practice, he was absolutely insane. So insane that he got a lot of praise from A.J. Brown during his post-practice presser.
Terrace Marshall seemed to have, make some nice catches today. What have you seen in the short time that he's been here?
He's coming along quite well, honestly. Even in the spring, he was making a lot of catches. I know you guys didn't see it, but he's gonna make the room very uncomfortable, and that's a great thing, And I'm excited to see the room continue to evolve. Not just him, but everybody push each other. So I'm excited.
Now, some other notable starting spots, and as expected, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he was your starting inside linebacker alongside Zach Bond. No surprise there. Chad Campbell and Smile Munden held down the second-team linebacker unit. And finally, A.J. Brown got reps as the number 2 back today ahead of Will Shipley, which I found interesting, but as we know, it's just day 1. All in all the starter stuff is basically what I expected. I mean, DeJean obviously getting to start at base defense at safety. That is definitely notable, but Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a starter, Keely Ringo's a starter, Mukuba and Sidney Brown kind of swapping back and forth. It was all status quo, what we expected. This is going to go on for a couple of days. I think next week you're going to start to see maybe the cream rise to the crop, so stay tuned for that. But as of right now, it's all 100% as I expected. As far as the individual standout plays, well, Jalyx Hunt had the lone sack of Jalen Hurts today, which is great for the Hunt hype train rolling into year 2. And Jordan Mailata, he was leading the hype train post-practice where he compared Jalyx Hunt to Micah Parsons. Listen to this. This is insane.
Jalyx? Oh, man, he's going to be special. He's going to be special, man. Just his burst, he has tendencies like Micah, just to be able to cut on a dime like that. Man, I'm so proud of that guy, the way he works. How do I go from Josh Sweat to Jalyx, man? It's crazy. I was just like, man, Howie, give me a break for 1 year. Jesus. Jalyx is going to be a star, man. And I'm glad that I get to go up against him because I know that if he's giving me hell, he's going to give everyone else hell. So
Jahad Campbell also had a solid blitz of Jalen Hurts, which apparently altered his throw, forced an incompletion, which reporters noted helped show off just how athletic and versatile the rookie can be. He also had a nice PBU on Tanner McKee when running with the second teamers. All in all, emphasis today, Jahad Campbell looked great. Moving over to Jalen Hurts, and the Super Bowl MVP was dialed in all day long, only had one incompletion, and as mentioned, found his favorite target, A.J. Brown, early and often. It's way too early to get any sort of feel for how much better QB1 looks because this is practice 1 with no pads, but I'm expecting some big things in the coming weeks. Plus, if you're wondering just how dialed in Hurts is already, how about some snippets from his press conference after practice where it was all about moving on, I don't want to wear my ring, I don't care about the Super Bowl last year, let's try and win it again in 2025.
And so now it's purely focused on having a really good training camp, building a great foundation, and continue to build on the chemistry with my teammates, with our team, and with the coaches. Yeah, I've moved on to the new year. You know, it's as simple as that. Make sure everything is well maintained and well groomed, so it's available when we need to use it. And so we just want to continue to refine our game all around as a team. It's a new journey. It's a new journey. It's a new season, and those things are far behind us. Purely focused on being the best I can be.
All in all, day 1 of Eagles training camp practice, it was a massive success. Anytime you can have a practice where there aren't a ton of turnovers or sloppy play or penalties, injuries, of course, knock on wood, that is a successful day 1. And so now we keep an eye on the fact that they're going to have day 2 tomorrow, day 3 the next day. It's going to really start ramping up here. So, of course, sure, go ahead and subscribe because I'm going to be your one-stop shop for every single bit of Eagles training camp news. Moving over quickly to our divisional friends down in Big D, and there's nothing like a Jerry Jones opening training camp press conference where he immediately bashes superstar Micah Parsons to make you feel even better about being a Birds fan.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
On top of that, J.J. Watt, of all people, would quote tweet that clip and say, quote, anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just got to take it. Nothing makes guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are they got hurt while fighting for you. Which, of course, Micah Parsons would then retweet. So thumbs up for that.
I mean, honestly, for me, it really don't matter. Like I said, I've been pretty consistent. If they don't want me here, they don't want me here. I'll go about my business. I understand the nature of the business. Like I said, as long as I'm here and under contract, I'm going to do what I have to do to perform at the highest level. But this is the end. This is the end. There's same way the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the other Jerry Jones take care of their family, it's the same way I need to take care of my family. You know what I mean? I got my own 3 kids of my own, so we all need to take care of our own family at the end of the day.
Now, before you say we should trade for Micah Parsons, he's reported to training camp, even without a new contract, which is crazy, but he's there. Doesn't mean he's happy. Philly's not trading for Micah Parsons. I don't want to get that out of there. It's just out front because I know how you guys work. But it is always fun to see just how dysfunctional Dallas is. And day 1 of training camp, they're already infighting. It's just really, really great to go ahead and cover. Likewise, the Commanders themselves have a big problem of their own. Star wide receiver Terry McLaurin was officially a no-show at day 1 of Commanders camp this morning amid the continued frustration over his contract extension, or I guess the lack thereof. And I think in the end, Adam Schefter this morning on 97.5 The Fanatic summed up perfectly day one of training camp for the Birds versus the rest of the NFL when he said,
everybody in camp as of today, and not only is everybody in camp, but the Commanders have a problem, the Cowboys have a problem, and the Eagles are sitting back just enjoying how their Super Bowl rings look.
And we, of course, have plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Training camp's here. We have a ton of shows happening. Also, our Wednesday Link Live sometime this evening, myself and Josh Davis, approaching 100,000 subs too. So hit the red subscribe button, notification bell, that way you know what goes on first. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.